Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Nick from Australia, and welcome to my NRL 2024 ladder predictions. I believe now is the right time to get these out. I know a lot of people have been asking me, and a lot of people have been asking on social media, on all platforms, really, and they're saying, Nick, when's your ladder predictions coming out? We want to see your top 8. We want to see your top 4, your bottom 8, your bottom 4. And I think now's a good time to get them out, guys. I really do. Like, you think about it, we're 39 days from the NRL season starting. We're getting closer and closer, and we're not far from the NRL season getting underway, about 5 weeks away. 39 days to round 1. I think tonight what I'll do, I'll reveal my ladder prediction, and I will do my season preview closer to the football season. So, I'm not going to be doing my grand final tonight. I'm not going to be giving you my Dally M tonight. I'm not going to be giving you my team of the year prediction. We're just going to be doing the ladder itself and the ladder only. So the 2024 ladder prediction that I'm predicting is tonight. So don't be asking about, what's your grand final? Blah, blah, blah. That is for the season preview. Season preview will be probably like February 17, February 16, around that. So in about a couple weeks. But as always, guys, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And just quickly, I want to mention this as well. If I don't have your team in the top 8, it's not a personal attack. It's just my opinion. I will give you my opinion on every team. We'll go through it. If I have your team outside the top 8, don't get upset. It's not the end of the world. I can't have everyone in the top 8. So let's begin. I was debating whether to start from top to bottom, but we're going to go from bottom to top. My wooden spoon. Here we go. Let's get into it. My wooden spoon for 2024. This team, I think, is really falling off. And I could be wrong about this, but we'll see what happens. My wooden spooners is the Green Machine. The Raiders. Look, man, I think the Raiders will come 17th. I think they're going to come last. They're going to really struggle, man. They've lost Jack Whiten. They've lost Jared Croker. They've lost experience. I've got a very, very average spine right now. I think they're going to really struggle this season. I can't see them scoring many points. They've got, an average fullback in Chris. Rapana can play there, but it's his last season. Fogarty can't do it all himself. I just think they're going to struggle, man, the Raiders. So we're going to put them in 17th. They will get the wooden spoon. 16th, Dragons. I think we all know why. The situation at the Dragons is not pretty. They are really struggling at the moment. The whole 5'8" situation. Lost to Monet. They lost Sullivan. Kyle Flanagan in the halves of Ben Hunt. It's extremely low quality compared to the rest of the competition. I find it very hard to see the Dragons doing anything great this season. They're going to really struggle, man. So, yeah, I think they're going to be right down the bottom. Now, if the Dragons get the wooden spoon and Canberra comes second last, won't be shocked. But I think it's going to be a long year for the Dragons. I do see a few positives in them, in their outside backs, but everything else is very, very mid compared to the rest of the competition. Now, 15th. Like I said, if you saw the title, if you saw the thumbnail, there are some crazy predictions here, man. And this one is going to shock you all. The team I have in 15th is a team that they didn't play finals last year. They actually started the year off pretty well, but then they fell off towards the end. The team I have in 15th is the Dolphins. Now, you're going to think I'm crazy or off my head, but I'm not. Trust me, I'm as sober as I can be. I believe the Dolphins are going to struggle. I think they're in for a really tough season. Last year, everyone said they'd come last or be in the bottom four. They actually surprised everybody and went really well. And then obviously they fell off towards the back end. I think the Dolphins are going to struggle. Now, I know they got Herbie Farnworth. I know they got Flegler. I know they got Averillo. But Flegler, for me, he's not the type of front rower that where he's going to change the club. He's not going to make them a stronger team, in my opinion. They've got a very old, aging forward pack with a couple of good young gems in Tom Gilbert and Connolly Lemu and Ray Stone. The whole forward pack is old besides that. Halves are very average. Herbie Farnworth's not going to get as much ball as he did at the Broncos. Averillo's good without being great. I just think they're going to struggle. Now, I know it's Wayne's last year and they should go better than this, but the Dolphins, they still can't win away from Queensland. They didn't win it. They did not win a single game in Sydney last year. So, Dolphins, for me, they're going to struggle. I reckon they're going to come in the bottom four. Might be a bit crazy, but that's my prediction for them. 14th is the Bulldogs. Look, how many times, every couple of years, Bulldogs are going to go do this, they're going to do that. I ain't believing the hype. Last year I believed it and I instantly regretted it. I don't see the Bulldogs really improving. I think Stephen Crichton's a really good addition. I think Bronson Sherry, Connor Tracy, Hutchison, Curran, man, like they've bought well. But their four-pack is horrible. With the utmost respect, the Bulldogs do not have any front rowers. Liam Knight is a New South Wales Cup standard front rower at best. Max King, he's more of a number 2 front rower. He's more of he will feed for you. He's not the guy that's going to lead you to the next level. They don't have any premier elite front rowers. Like, the Bulldogs need someone like a David Clemmer to go back there and lead by example, or they need to go and sign someone like try and get like a Fisher Harris or a friggin', someone with a big name. It's just, the Bulldogs, I think they're in for a really, really tough year. And I think they will be the team that concludes the bottom four. So I've got them in 14th. York with the donation. Roosters Bulldogs grand final. I would be shocked, but thank you very much for the donation. Moving on, another team that I have down here, and you guys are going to be shocked by this as well. This team made the top 8 last season. They had an incredible run. But I think their fairy tale comes to an end. 13th is the Newcastle Knights. I do not believe the hype of the Newcastle Knights. I am not convinced at all. I think what they did last year was actually quite good. They went on a great run, but now we're going into a brand new season. I think the loss of Dominic Young is absolutely significant. It's major. They haven't really replaced him. They've brought in Tom Jenkins from Penrith, who's more of a centre than a winger. So unless they're going to play Dane Gagai on the wing, it's really hard to see how they replace Dominic Young. One head knock to Kalen Ponga, and Newcastle will be lucky to win when he's out. So I don't know, man. Newcastle, I'm just concerned. I think Fitzgibbon's a big loss. I do rate the addition of Kai Pearce-Paul, but he's not proven in the NRL. He's proven in the Super League. I don't know, man. I could be wrong about Newcastle. They could easily finish 5th again and prove me wrong, but I'm just a little bit concerned about the direction they're heading. I don't think their team is good enough to back it up once again. So we'll see what happens, but not really sold on the Knights. 12th is the West Tigers, and this would actually be an improvement for the West Tigers. They have been terrible for the last 12 years, and I think it's time that the West Tigers start building in the right direction, and I think they are. I think Benji Marshall is getting some things going. I really like the way that they're going, the West Tigers. I like what they're doing with their team. I am so keen for this West Tigers side. I think they may not be in the top 8 this season, but going forward with Jerome Luai going there in 2025. Another year on with, Coruscant leading, Bateman, Papali'i. The combinations are going to start to gel and they're going to start to get better. I think young Buller is improving. Aiden Caesar's there for a year. He will give him a lot of experience. And the West Tigers might actually win some games because of that reason. So I like the direction the West Tigers are going, and I actually think they're going to improve in 2024. They're going to go from 17th up to 12th. They're going up 5 spots on the ladder. I think they're going to actually be very competitive this year, and Olam as well. Another good pick up there in the centers. Moving on to 11th, and I've got the Gold Coast Titans here. Look, I did a video about the Gold Coast Titans the other week, and I said that'd be horrible, bottom 4, whatever. But I've had a bit of time to think about it. I think the Gold Coast, they do improve a little bit this year. They go up maybe 1 or 2 spots. Will they come 14th last year? I think they're going to come 11th this year. I think Des Hasler will fix some things there, although I don't think Des Hasler's the coach that's going to win the Gold Coast a grand final or win a finals game or anything like that. But I think he can sort of get him a few more spots up the ladder. I think their 4-pack is very good. Fafita, Fodawaker, Tino. Palisea is a good signing. They get both Fermor back from his ACL, which may take time for him to get going. Again, they've got Isaac Liu there, who he needs a big season, man. Aaron Clark, they've got some really good middles, the Gold Coast, but they're not consistent enough to make the top 8. I think they will have their moments. They will get some good wins this season, but I don't see the Gold Coast as a team that I don't think they'll make the 8, but I think they're definitely going to be competitive most games. So I got them in 11th. Gold Coast come 11th. 10th. A team that has only missed the finals once since 2015, and that is the Cronulla Sharks. They will come 10th. They will miss the 8. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be angry about this. I know I've got a lot of Sharks supporters that watch the channel, but I think Cronulla are going to miss the 8. I think they're going to go back just a little bit. They can't beat top 8 teams or top 4 teams. They always seem to struggle against top 8 teams. A lot of pressure on Craig Fitzgibbon, in my opinion. He's 0-3 in finals games as a head coach in the NRL. A lot of players underperformed last year. The Sharks they barely snuck into the top 8. They barely fell in there. They come 6th in the end. I think they made the 8 by 2 games. So they barely got in. They've lost Matt Moylan, which, Matt Moylan may not have been at his best, but he was such a good halves partner for Nicho Hynes. Trindle's got a lot of pressure on him, man. I don't know if Trindle's the man that's going to help Hynes. I'm not sure. I don't know, man. Obviously, for me, I think the Sharks are better in 2025. I think when they get Fanua Blake, the Sharks will probably go back up into the top 8. But I think for now, I think other teams are improving and getting better. So I've got them dropping a little bit. Sharks have finished 10th and missed the top 8. 9th. This is the position you don't want to finish. It's the meme position. I found this so hard, man. This was so hard to call. In 9th, get ready. Manly are going to come 9th. It's going to be tough for Manly. I think they're going to just miss out. Now, Manly, for me, Manly are one of those teams where if they are healthy, if they are fully fit, they could easily finish 5th, 4th, 3rd, 6th. They could easily finish top 4 for me. If they are healthy, they are capable of top 4. If Turbo plays 20 games, they probably make the top 8. I'm a little bit concerned about Luke Brooks. Now, Luke Brooks should go well this season, but he's never played finals in his life, so I do have concerns about that. Schuster, Is he ready to go in the back row? Is he going to go good? And Anthony Seibold, I don't think Anthony Seibold's the coach that's going to take Manly to the promised land. I think there's better coaches out there than Anthony Seibold. I actually think Anthony Seibold's a bit of a fraud when it comes to NRL coaching. I think Manly can do a lot better than that. We'll see what happens, but there's a couple of things that I would like to see ticked off first before I put Manly in my 8, but I would not be surprised if they do sneak in there. But I've got them in 9th. Right. Righto. Before we get to the top 8, let me just have a nice mouthful of this beautiful can of Coke. Beautiful. Excuse me. All right. The top 8. Now, I won't get to the Cowboys yet, but as you guys know, I am a Cowboys supporter. I will have the Cowboys in a position that some of you may not have. So I just want to let you guys know about that. But my top 8, here we go. 8th. They were in the preliminary final last year, and I think they might fall a little bit, but they'll still be in the 8. 8th is the Warriors. I think the New Zealand Warriors will come 8th. I think the addition of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is a big one. I think he's going to be a really good signing for them. I think, obviously, Sean Johnson, another year on, getting a bit older as well. Metcalf will go good at 5'8". The thing with the Warriors that I'm interested in is, can they back it up what they did last year? Can they really do it again? I think they might fall a few spots, but I feel like Johnson, Fanil Blake, Harris, Chance, Tuivasa-Sheck, they have enough quality to make the 8. And I think with them being in New Zealand as well, with their home games, they'll win enough games in New Zealand to get into that top 8. They should win a few games over here in Australia as well. So we'll see how the Wars go, but I've got them in 8th. They might fall a little bit, but they should still be a very good team. 7th, Sydney Roosters. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, Roosters will finish 4th. They'll come 2nd. They'll come 3rd. Listen, I'm pretty confident in saying that they'll miss the top 4. Now, if they make the top 4, then, okay, fair enough. Realistically, on paper, the Roosters should be in the top 4. But we know every year they start the year slow. Something happens, combinations or something doesn't go right. The Roosters, for me, they're a top 8 team, but there are some concerns. Kiri's getting older, probably his last year at the Roosters. Tedesco's not the player he was 3 or 4 years ago. Brendan Smith needs a big season. Lenu, a new addition. Crichton's not, Radley. All these guys really need to step up. They really need to step up. And I think with the Roosters, on paper, they look very good. I think they'll do enough to get there. I think they'll be better than last year, even though it's the same position they finished last year. I think the Roosters will play a bit better than they did last season. I kind of have to. So I've got the Roosters finishing in 7th, and we will see how they go in 2024. On the 6th place, a team that a lot of people will be surprised about this one. I've got Parramatta in 6. I think Parramatta are going to be very good this season. I think they're going to improve. I think last year was a bit of a grand final hangover, as we like to call them these days. I think the Eels are going to go a lot better this season. Their forward pack is stacked. Campbell Gillard, Paulo, Cartwright, Ryan Madison, Jermaine Hopgood, Ogden, Grieg, who else I got there? I got some great forwards, the Eels. The Eels have a very good forward pack. Brown, Moses, Dylan Brown has a lot to Dylan Brown has a lot to do. He needs to repay the Eels for his off-field incident last year. I actually think Parramatta will go well. I think at CommBank, they will have I think they'll be hard to beat at CommBank Stadium. I think Parramatta are in for a really good year. I think they'll improve. My only concern for Parramatta, and this is just me, some of you haven't been talking about this, but my only concern for them is their right edge. Penasini needs to step up, and Sean Russell is under pressure as well. So we'll see how that does go. I think Sean Russell's under a lot of pressure. I wouldn't be surprised if Morgan Harper goes to center and they put Simonson back on the wing. But I think their halves, their forwards, Govison, I think they're good enough to be in the top 8. So Parramatta will come 6th for me. 5th, the Melbourne Storm. The mighty Melbourne Storm. Everyone likes to call them. Everyone likes to talk about them every year. Let me just say this about Melbourne. I have had Melbourne 7 for 8 for pretty much all off season. You know why I have Melbourne in 5th? Because they always seem to get there. Melbourne always seem to find a goddamn way to get into that top 6. Whether they look weak on paper compared to other teams, they just find a way every single year. I think Munster and Hughes is good enough to make, to get them there. They have a very good back line. My concern is their forward pack. Welsh is 29. Last year, Christian Welsh looked like a 35-year-old front rower. He looked like a complete has-been. Nelson needs a big season. Josh King was good. Kamikamifa, Aaron Penne, Alex McDonald, all these guys. I think Melbourne, Craig Bellamy as well, they may not look great. Melbourne may not look great on paper, but they'll be there. They will be. You just know it. And I think they'll win enough games to be in the top 6. So Melbourne, for me, they'll come 5th. 4th, the Cowboys. And I'll explain why before everyone has a big whinge about this. Oh, you're so biased. How can you put the Cowboys in your top 4? Hey, I'm not the only one that's doing this. If you remember, or if you watched the Levels podcast recently, Justin Horro, the Scope, had the Cowboys in his top 4, so he's not the only one doing it. Here's the thing, right, about the Cowboys, and I'm going to be as honest as I can here. Obviously, 2022 was a breakout year. Cowboys came 3rd, had a great year. Obviously, got robbed in the prelim final, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. Last year, we had a lot of excuses. Players didn't come back to training to January. By then, you're fucking 6 to 8 weeks behind in preseason. And that's why we started the year off like shit. Going into a new season, the young kids that we got, the guys that stand out in Origin, they're going to be better for the run. You look at a guy like Ruben Cotter, Griffin Neame, Nanai, Lukey, Fini Fuiaki, Tom Dearden, Drinkwater, Talangi. There's so Valentine Holmes, for crying out loud, Valame. There is so much quality in the Cowboys. If they start the year off good and get things right, there is absolutely no reason why the Cowboys can't be back up there into that top 4. I don't see why not. I really don't see why not. I think the future is bright. The only concern I have is Chad Townsend. Now, I think Chad Townsend's a great player, but he's getting old. He's not at his absolute best anymore. He had a great 22, had a disappointing year last year. If Chad Townsend does his job better and everyone else is on board, look out. Tamalolo, he only played half a year last year. And when Tamalolo came back, he was coming off the bench and he was destroying teams. I remember the game against Manly at Brookvale. Jason Tamalolo went absolutely berserk against Manly. Cowboys will definitely be in the 8. You might not say top 4, but I'm pretty confident we'll be in the 8. It's not the same roster as last year. There's improvement. It's a little bit similar to last year, but there is improvement. I think Michele is a good pickup as well. Obviously, I'm going to back my boys in, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, we come in the top 4. Top 8 would be ideal, but if we can make the top 4, that'd be great. Third, South Sydney. South Sydney. Yes, the Rabbitohs. A lot of people are going to say this team is way too high. But you know what? I think the addition of Jack Whiten is absolutely huge. South Sydney, you got to remember, now look, I'm not making an excuse here. This is just a reality. South Sydney had a 6-week travel period at the back end of last year. They had to travel to Perth. They had to travel to Cairns. They had to travel to Queensland. They had to travel back to fucking I don't know where they went, but there was like a 6-week travel period, the Rabbitohs. If you remember last year, I think they had to play Perth, Darwin. I don't know where the fuck. They were all over the place. South Sydney are looking good. Now, I know the whole thing last year, Sam Burgess, Jason Demetrio, blah, blah, blah. Call it what you like. I am keen on the Rabbits, man. I think they have put last year's crap behind them. They've got a fit Latrell Mitchell, Cody Walker. We know how good he is. Murray. I've got some great young guns there in Tallis Duncan. David Mawali's in for a big year, in my opinion. Big Shaq Mitchell. Who else is there? We're talking about Tyrone Munro. They've got, Campbell Graham, one of the best centers in the game. If South Sydney get their crap together, they're going to be right back up there, man. I've no doubt about it. They've been a top 4 team a lot over the last couple of years. Obviously, last year was really disappointing with the Rabbitohs. We'll see what happens, man. But I think Demetrio is finally starting to get control of things. And Latrell Mitchell is the one that I'm looking at. If he stays healthy, this team will go good. So South will come third. Second, the Broncos. A lot of people are going to say Broncos are going to drop, but the reason why I don't think they're going to drop much at all is because I don't see anyone better than them. I don't think there's many teams that are going to be better than Brisbane. I think, especially at Suncorp, they're very hard to beat. I know they don't play much in Sydney. I think they play 4 games in Sydney this year. They only played 3 there last year, plus the grand final. Broncos will be good. I think they'll be good. I think Ezra Mann, the season he had, he's going to want to back it up. Reece Walsh, like him or hate him, the bloke's a superstar. They got some elite forwards in Haas, Carrigan. I get Capewell's a loss, but you got to think that young back row, Brendan Piaccore, was an absolute gun last season. Ricky, he does his thing. I get they will miss Flegler, but they've got some, I think they've got a really well-balanced team here. They've got some young gem forwards that may not be well-known at the moment, but Jaden Hunt from the Dragons, I think, is going to be a good pickup for him. Fletcher Baker as well. I think he'll go well. I think they'll go well, Brisbane. Reynolds only missed 6 games last year. I don't want to hear this, Reynolds is injury-prone. I call bullshit on that at the moment. He only missed 6 games last season. That's pretty good when you play 24 games a year and you get 3 buys. To miss only 6 games, that's pretty good. Anyway, we'll see how Brisbane go. They'll be hard to beat at Suncorp, as we all know, but I think they're in for another really good season. We'll see how they go. And first, well, I know it's boring, but it's Penrith. Who the fuck's going to beat Penrith? Who's going to beat Penrith? Honestly, they've won 3 grand finals in a row. They're almost unbeatable at Penrith Stadium. Yes, it's Luai's last year, so they will want to try and do it again for 4 in a row. Cleary, Fisher-Harris, Leota, Martin, To'o, Tago, Edwards. They got freaks everywhere. I get Crichton's a loss, but Taylor May will come in and he'll be a freak, or, Tyrone Peachey will play center and, he will do a job. Penrith are going to have a good season, man. Anyway, I think Penrith will finish first once again. We'll see how they go. But yeah, that's my ladder prediction. Before I wrap it up, I'll just go through it again quickly with you guys in case you missed it. Raiders in 7-8, Canberra for the wooden spoon. 16th is the Dragons. 15th, the Dolphins. 14, the Bulldogs. That's my bottom four. Then we got the Knights there in 13th. West Tigers in 12th. 11th is the Gold Coast. 10th is Cronulla. 9th is Manly. And then we get to the top 8. We got the Warriors in 8th. Roosters in 7th. Eagles in 6th. Melbourne in 5th. Cowboys in the top 4. Rabbitohs 3rd. Broncos 2nd. And the Panthers to finish as minor premiers. Even though I hope Penrith and Brisbane just fall off a cliff, man. I really do. But hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you did, don't forget to like the stream, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your opinion on my ladder prediction. Obviously, there's some big calls and there's some surprises there. But have a fantastic Wednesday night, January 24. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone. Take care. And hope you guys enjoyed it. See you later.